Hello everyone, Simon here and welcome to the second video of the ARCHMINE100 series. So in this video we're going to do the first exercise. So if you remember at the end of the last video we said the exercise for this is going to be to build a statue of an animal. So this is exercise 1 here, a town statue. Oh, before we start, if you're not familiar with Minecraft at all, you might want to get used to the controls. Options, controls, just look at this to figure out what the controls are. Most of the controls I use are the default. So WASD to move around, use the mouse to look around. Press E for inventory. And attack, destroy is mouse button 1. Use item, place block is button 2, and then pick block is your middle mouse button, if you have one of those. So hopefully it's not too difficult to learn if you're not familiar with Minecraft. So you might want to just practice kind of looking around and moving around. If you're flying, press shift to go down, and then if you're on the ground, double tap jump, which is spacebar, to fly. So just some basic controls. I'm assuming that most of you will have played Minecraft before actually, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. But if you're completely new, then go have a look at the controls, and also maybe go to www.minecraftwiki.net. I think that was... Let me just double check that. Hold on. Excuse me while I go Minecraft Wiki. .net, yeah, that's right. Alright, so that's the address for the Minecraft wiki, which will be very useful for you if you're new to the game. Anyway, so controls aside, the first exercise is going to be here. So this is the plinth for the statue. Let me just grab the instructions and then destroy this, because you don't really need this stuff. So all the red wool and the chest and the signs and the torches, they're just the instructions. So once you've gotten the instructions, which is like here, then you can just get rid of the red wool and the stuff around it, because that's not really important to the exercises at all. And a lot of the times they'll be in the way. So like, stuff like this, they'll be in the way of your building. So just remove them and get the book. So the first exercise is the town statue. Build a statue of an animal on this plinth. And the purpose is to learn Minecraft basics, selecting, placing, and breaking blocks, to learn thinking in 3D. Note, you should probably find pictures of your chosen animal. Don't try to do this all from your imagination. So you can't see it on the video here, but I actually have pictures of an elephant. Well, actually, pictures of multiple elephants. And I've chosen to build a statue of an elephant on my plinth. So you can choose any animal you like. But find pictures of it so you can kind of just get an idea of what this thing looks like that you're trying to build. Try not to extend beyond the boundary of the plinth, and definitely don't extend over the temple or town square. If you're wondering, the temple is going to be there, and the town square is going to be there. So don't kind of go beyond the plinth, because as I said earlier in the previous video, I mean, if you're building a temple there, right? If you're going to build a giant dragon or something over the temple, then it's going to get in the way of your temple later on. So stick to this site here. What else? If you haven't kind of looked at the map before, you might want to just go around and look at the exercises and just kind of have a read. And if you want to do them before we get to them in the lectures, you're free to do so. But it might be good to just kind of keep in mind of the other things and the other builds that are in the city here. So for example, I'm going to build an elephant statue, right? So if I build it facing, this way, then there's just water out there, and then we have the elephant butt pointing towards the temple, and that might not be appropriate, right? So I'm thinking the temple is there and the town square is there. I might build the elephant facing this way, although building diagonally is quite complicated. But I mean, if I put it this way, then we don't have an elephant butt facing towards the city, which is a bit odd, right? So when you kind of think about what you might build, just keep stuff like that in mind, like what are the other buildings in the area and how your build might affect these other buildings. So what should we do here? So we have a lot of blocks. If you open the inventory in Creative, you'll find a lot of blocks. Elephants are typically gray, but the plinth is also mostly gray. What should we build? Let's stick with something easy. Let's go with stone bricks. So I'm just going to pick up most of the stone brick things and put them into my bar there. Chiseled stone bricks, I might want this. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe cobble. Do I want cobblestone walls? Maybe I want cobble instead. If you're completely new to Minecraft and you haven't really built stuff before, this might not make any sense to you. But let me just pick up the materials that I know I'll be interested in first. And then we start building. Alright, let's just grab some stone and cobblestone, just to keep things easy for ourselves. We want stairs. See, the thing about stairs is that you can use them to approximate curves. So for example, I might do this. Actually, let me do that, and then, actually, no, that's the wrong thing. Let me do that, and then do that, and then do that. So you can kind of use stairs to approximate diagonals, for example, like that. So that might be something you find useful. You can use cobblestone walls as well. So cobblestone walls typically look like that if you build a wall with it, right? But you might want to use it to, for example, make a thinner column than what you can achieve with just, a massive block like that. So just some things to keep in mind as you decide what materials you're going to pick. So now that I think about it, I might use the cobble. Alright, so let's make an elephant facing this way. First of all, let's approximate how big this thing is going to be. So elephant is, I guess we want to make it like roughly that big. It's going to be bigger than life size. In fact, the bigger it is, the easier you'll find it, because as you use blocks to approximate curves, the bigger the object, the smoother the thing is going to look, because the blocks will be smaller in comparison to the whole thing. We're going to build a larger than life-size elephant there and fill the space. And just by looking at that, I'm thinking maybe that means the feet will be 4 blocks by 4 blocks. That seems a bit drastic, doesn't it? Let me see how this works out. So I'm looking at the pictures. You can't see them, but I can see them. And just looking at an elephant, let's just have it a fairly standard. The elephant is just standing there and not doing anything particularly interesting. So what if I put elephant feet? No, that's too close together. What if I put elephant feet, for example, there, there. Maybe it's too far forward. It might be too far forward. Let me move this back by 1 block. So as I'm doing this, I'm visualizing the bulk of the elephant in this space. And I can't actually really show you what I'm visualizing because it's in my head, right? But I'm trying to think where to put this. Oh, and you'll notice that I've marked out the center lines for you with the sandstone. So if you look at how the sandstone actually is, like this is the middle of the plinth, so you can kind of quickly see where the stuff is. I've put like marks there. I put marks in the temple, right? But I haven't put marks in the town square. So as you continue onwards, I've made things more and more difficult for you over time. So in the first exercise, I've kind of given you lighting and given you the center lines to make things easy. But don't get too used to it, because that will disappear later on. See, I'm looking at this. I feel like the feet are too big for the elephant. Unless I make a bigger elephant, this is not going to be the right size. And look at that. If you imagine those are the feet, the elephant will be like that big, and then the feet are too big for the elephant. So either I make the elephant bigger, or I make the feet smaller. So I've said earlier that bigger is probably going to be easier. So I'm going to make the elephant bigger by spacing the feet out a little bit, and then spacing the front legs out quite a bit more. So then we might have it there. How does that look if those are the feet of the elephant? See, now that's more reasonable. The elephant's going to be that big if we build the whole thing. This might be really confusing since you can't actually see the elephant that I'm looking at. From the front on, the elephant will be, you know, like that big. Does that make sense? I hope so. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so the feet might be a little bit far apart, to be honest. Maybe I want to put it a little bit closer. What if I move that there and then move that there? The thing is, I might turn this into a little bit of a caricature too, because there's more detail in the head of the elephant. So I might end up making the head bigger in comparison to the body, just so that we can fit more detail in the head. Also, the front legs are actually closer together than the back legs, which in a real elephant is the other way around. In a real elephant, the front legs are wider apart than the back legs. Let me change my mind a little bit. Let's just do it like this. This seems reasonable. So the elephant's gonna be, yep, that's the right size. Alright, so let's see how tall the elephant should be. And let's just have the legs go straight up and down, because for the most part the legs do go straight up and down in the real elephants. It's gonna look a bit blocky for now, but hopefully it'll make sense later on. So I'm just kind of looking at the picture here. It's almost square, so however wide that is from front leg to back leg is about how tall the elephant is. The proportions of the elephant are a little bit square, even though it does round off right as you get to the start, as you get to the top of it. So we kind of do that. So probably should curve back a little bit from there and curve to the other side too. But at the tallest bit of the back of the elephant, I think the back of the elephant should be about this tall, judging from the picture I'm looking at. This is going to be a bit complicated. So let's give the elephant a spine. If we say that the spine of the elephant is going to be about there, I might just want to remove a bit of that. So that's the top of the elephant. Let me just flatten that out, although in a real elephant it actually slopes a little bit. So I think like here it might want to come up a block. And now we are, you know, at the shoulders of the elephant. The rain and the darkness doesn't really help, does it? Let me just go set time day, time set day, and then toggle down for, just so we can see this clearly. I think that's pretty good. I think at the back here, the elephant is going to start, like the back is going to start sloping down quite a bit. In fact, maybe like down to here. Is that too much? It's a little bit too much. The elephant does have a slightly bigger backside than that. Maybe like here? Alright, that seems good. That seems quite good. Maybe too much. Maybe too much. Hold on, let me again change my mind a little bit. Maybe let me step back here. And then there. I think that's actually, no, that's too little. See, I'm struggling now with the problem with Minecraft is that the blocks are too big, so it's like if I add one more block, it's too long. If I take away a block, it's too short. Alright, so I think that's pretty good. Let me just remove this leg a little bit. So that's the back of the elephant, or the top of the back. You see how that works? Now, we need to make the bulk of it. Now, the problem with pictures of elephants is that mostly you see the front of the elephant. Nobody seems to take elephant butt photos. Like, you don't see the back of the elephant. Although there's a very interesting picture here of an elephant scratching its leg against a car, which is kind of funny. But no elephant butts to be seen. Oh, there's an elephant butt there. Quite wide. The elephant has a wide butt. Curious. Yeah, no, nobody takes pictures of the behind of elephants. That's a shame. Maybe we should fix that somehow. Need more elephant butt in Google image search. Alright, well let's stop trying to find elephant butts and just make it up, right? So it's quite wide, the elephant. Let me just add some blocks to the side here to make the elephant a bit wider. And then consider how the leg joins up. I guess we'll just do an arc like that. So we start moving in here, right? And then I guess we can join it up like that there. So we're, as we said earlier, we are approximating curves. Oops, my bad. We're approximating curves with blocks, which is not easy. I keep saying that, and I mean it. It's not easy. So we're gonna get you guys to practice this from the very beginning. So you got that. That's pretty good. It's pretty good, right? So the bulk of the elephant, we'll figure it out later on. Let's figure out the outline first. So on this side, we need the front legs to join up with the shoulders, right? So let's start with that, and that, and that there. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm always like building a bit and then stepping back, building a bit and stepping back, because when you're up close like this, you can't actually see what you're doing. So we're gonna build the legs and then step back, and then approximate the bulk of the elephant. I think we make the shoulders a bit broader, just to make it give it a bit of a a bulkier look. So let's go up one more block before we start curving in. Right, so you kind of put in a few blocks and you step back to look at it to make sure you got the right shape going on. Like if you're always up close to it, then you're gonna get it wrong. You can't be up close when you're working on shapes like this, because you always misjudge what you're doing. That's fine. I'm just thinking like, is it too straight? Is it too square? No, I think it's fine. I think it's fine, especially since it's going to be behind the head of the elephant there. Alright, so that's pretty good. Let's just fill in the body of the elephant before we move on. So let's start with the butt. How much elephant butt do we want? I think that's good. That looks good to me. Let's just fill in the interior as well. And then, what about bulk? What about the, I guess we wanted to kind of line up with the legs. Yeah, so if we look at the pictures, the body of the elephant does line up with the legs. Although at the same time, we want the legs to be distinct from the body. So we don't want to blend the legs into the body completely. That would be a bit strange. So how do we do this? Is that too low? It's a little bit too low. Let me go one block higher. Oops. Let me just do that and see how I feel about this. If we it's a bit too high, isn't it? We do have the slabs here. So again, we have this problem where it's too low. You know, like this is too low, but then an extra block is too high. So I might just come back later on and use slabs here because I want it halfway pretty much. Let me just try this now. What do I do that? Use a slab upside down there. That's about right. Yeah, so again we have this issue with Minecraft and the blocks being too big, such that we don't get a good shape with the blocks, but that's why we have slabs. I think we just do this. It's a little bit strange. Maybe what's going on here is that the bottom needs to round out, so maybe I don't want the slabs. But you know, behind the front there, we want it to slope in just a little bit. Maybe like that. Maybe even like that. Actually, that's more like it. That's more like it. So the elephant slopes in a little bit. Maybe I want this to come out a little bit too, because the elephant is looking a little bit thin at the moment. Maybe it really should be like this. Let me just put that in there. That's more like it. So the elephant is kind of fatter now, which is good because elephants are big in real life. Look at that. Maybe it needs more of a bigger butt. Let me give it a slightly bigger butt there. That's great. That's pretty good. Look at that. It's a really bulky elephant. Let me fill the rest in, and then we'll try to copy it to the other side. I like to keep things symmetrical, although, you know, if you want a bit of a challenge, you can... I mean, imagine like if the elephant was running, or in the middle of walking, and you know, one leg is in front of the other. So right now the elephant is pretty much standing still, right? So that's kind of easy to build, because it's not really moving. It would be more interesting though if it was moving. But we're gonna keep things simple, at least for now. How does the butt work? Let's put blocks there and there. How does that work? Good enough. Good enough. Yeah, so I mean, if you want like an elephant that's in the middle of running, that'll be interesting. Because you have to figure out, you know, the legs are different from either side, for example. It'll be quite challenging if you're interested in the challenge. Alright, so how do we do this? So there's like legs there. I think that's what we're doing. And then 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then did I raise? I did raise this by 1 block. Alright, that's symmetrical, that's good. And then here we want this to stick out a little bit more. In fact, we want a lot of this to stick out a bit more. It's a bit of a shame about the lighting though, isn't it? At nighttime it's a bit dark. Let me just put that in. And double check. Okay, that's supposed to be like that. Set time day. Right, good. What was I doing? Alright, that's 1, 2. 1, 2, that's correct. So that's correct. And then 1 block down from there. I mean, I'm just doing this, and so maybe it just seems... Maybe when you look at me do this, it seems kind of easy, or maybe you think I'm doing this really badly. Maybe, I don't know. So if you think I'm doing a bad job, well, good for you. You can do a better job and you can show me how well you do. If you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, I can't do that. Well, it comes with practice. It does come with practice. So the more you practice, the better you get at stuff like this. So if your elephant or whatever animal you choose doesn't look quite as majestic as mine, don't worry so much about it. But just keep practicing and just keep building things. And as you build more and more, you will get better at it. You know, like a lot of things in life, practice does in fact make perfect, which is good. There is hope, right? So that goes there and there, and I believe that makes this side the same as this side. Is it the same? Is it the same? I don't know. Is it the same? Let me just double check. I think it is. I think it's the same. Alright, that's pretty good. Let's fill in the middle of it. I don't like leaving emptiness inside things, although you know, if you just kind of close off the exterior, you wouldn't really notice that there's a hole in your elephant. I personally prefer to fill everything in, because you know, just in case you later on decide to change the shape of the elephant, you don't really want to dig into your elephant only to find a massive hole on the inside. You want to, you know, just kind of carve away and not have to worry about that. It's actually something you have to fill in later on again. That's how I feel about it. Alright, so there we go. Fill in your elephant. How does the head go? I guess it comes up quite sharply. Alright, at some point we're going to have to build the head. Let me just check underneath here. Yeah, I thought so. Let's just fill in the underneath as well. Maybe we put some... Well, we'll think about that later on. I was going to say we're going to maybe put some lighting under the elephant. Alright, so there's the legs and the body. It's nice and bulky. It's roughly the right shape. It's pretty good, I think. Doing pretty well. Now, for the head. So the head's going to be the complicated bit. Let me just look at the pictures again and look at the shape of the head. So the head sticks out quite a lot. So the shoulder is higher than most of the head. So you noticed earlier that I kind of put down the legs and then I drew the spine. That's basically me drawing the outline of the elephant in a 3D. So you know, when you're drawing a cartoon or drawing a picture in real life, I don't know if you draw, but you draw the outline and then you fill in the stuff and fill in the details in between, right? So when you're building things, you can do a similar thing. Like you kind of draw the legs and then you draw the back, which is like the outline of the elephant, and then you fill the rest of it in. So basically what I've been doing is kind of like drawing in 3D, except you know, with building blocks. So if you want to think of it that way, that might be easier to kind of just keep track of what it is that I'm doing here. Let me just look at the picture and see how far the head should come. To be honest, it's looking more like a buffalo than an elephant. I think elephants... The more I look at it, maybe the legs should be a bit longer. Well, too late. It's not really a good attitude to just say too late. But, you know, if your elephant doesn't really look right, maybe you should kind of try to fix it. But at the same time, you don't want to just tinker with the same thing over and over again. Sometimes it is just, you know, just a matter of saying, well, I'll do a better job next time. And I think I'll do that. So if I had to do this again, I might make the legs 1 block longer, just to make it a bit of a taller elephant. But it's not a huge problem. If you're dedicated, you can redo the whole thing. But I'm not that dedicated. So the trunk of the elephant goes pretty much to the ground in the picture. So I guess we'll do that. That's the trunk. And then... oops. And then... the head back here is pretty much just flat, as far as I can tell. That's pretty much correct. It's pretty much correct. Let me fill this in. Maybe the head should be a little bit wider, especially at the back. So let me add that. Maybe it's too much at the top. Let me take away that. That's a little bit strange. Let me just take my slabs and put some slabs there. Maybe put some slabs there like that. Well, that's not too bad. It's not too bad. Let me put a slab there. Alright, and then the ears, which is going to be the strangest bit because the ears on a real elephant is really thin. But we don't have thin things. We have thin, in this direction. But we don't have thin in the vertical direction. So the ears are going to be these massive blocks which don't really make any sense. But hopefully we can just deal with it. So let's see how big the ears are and what shape they are. Let's have them going back from here. I think that keeps things fairly simple for us. Let's just try... maybe it's more like that. Like that. And then down. Actually, it's more like that, and then down to like a point there. That's kind of how the ears are. It's not bad. It's a bit dubious though, isn't it? Because it's like really thick ears. It's okay. It's okay. What can you do? You're in Minecraft, trying to build an elephant. What can you do, indeed? Alright, so let's do that, and then how do we go? We went back down like this. That's not really right, is it? Maybe it is. 2 blocks down. Okay, we need 1 more block. Actually, maybe what I had was better. So there's the elephant's ears there, and there's the head. What's wrong with this? Maybe this needs to be slightly lower there. Maybe that's better. We have mostly an elephant. Alright, let's try to smooth this thing out. I have these stairs and I've had this for a long time. So I think we should try to smooth out some of this stuff. First of all, let's see if we can give it some toes, shall we? Are these good feet? These are adequate feet. What if I remove that? Maybe that's a bit strange. How do I put that back? I'm trying to look at the feet here. Alright, let's give it a few toes. This seems okay. So the stairs, as I said earlier, you can use stairs to approximate curves or diagonals with finer detail than you can with just the solid blocks. So each stair is kind of like a block in itself, but it does allow you to have more interesting shapes. For example, here, probably want to smooth out the ears a little bit, right? That's too big. That's too big. What should we do about this? Let's move, oops. Move that back there. do that. Ah, that's good. That's pretty good. So now we can kind of use the... Do I want this? Do I want that? Actually, I want that. That's actually closer to the real shape, but you won't realize it if you weren't looking at a picture of a real elephant ear. Yeah, so we can use the stairs to smooth things out a little bit more. And then that. Alright. So we want to give the elephant an eye as well, or two eyes. Where are the eyes on the elephant? It's kind of close to there. So let me put that. Nope. Let me put that. No. I'm gonna put that there. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty much in the right place. So we use an upside down stair to like have a hole in the rock or in the stone brick. So that looks like an eye, right? Ah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then at the front, let's use a slab there to smooth that a little bit. And then here, we want to smooth this out a little bit too, just with the slabs. Right. Do I want to put stairs here? I guess I do. Is that good? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that. And then we want this to curve around like that. How did I do this? I can't even see what I'm doing. I think I did that, right? And then I did this. So we're using stairs to smooth out the elephant a little bit. Here, that's good. I like how this is going. Is that what I want to do, or is that what I want to do? Or neither. Maybe that's what I want to do. That is what I want to do. I'm just kind of putting these things in and then testing them out to see if they work, right? You can see how I'm trying things out and then stepping back and looking at it and then changing it up a little and then stepping back and looking at it. So this is design. This is basically design. You're just kind of trying things out and seeing what works. Did I do that on the other side? No, I did it the other way. My bad. I did it the other way. So I want to put the stairs there. Trying things out, stepping back, seeing if it works. If it doesn't, then try something else, and just keep trying it until you find something that works well. And that is pretty much the whole essence of design. And you have to try it. You have to try it and evaluate. Try and evaluate. Like it seems quite quick for me, right? When you see me do this, it seems quite natural. But you want to try different things, and you get used to it. Like you get used to making a thing, stepping back, looking at it, and then seeing what doesn't really work, changing what you think doesn't work, and then stepping back, looking at it again, and this cycle of build something, step back, looking at it, build something, step back, looking at it. That's the essence of design. And if you can kind of get used to that, then you're doing it. You're doing design. Like you're a designer. Good job. Let me just raise the trunk a little bit so it's not completely touching the ground. Do I want that? I do want that. It's just a little bit sharp. You see that? Alright, here I think it's reasonable to do that. And then here it's probably reasonable to do that. And then at the side, how shall we do this? Maybe we do that. And then just Wait a minute, I'm just trying to see what's happening. Is that what I want? I'm not totally sure. That seems pretty good to me. That seems pretty good to me. Except maybe this bit. And nope, nope. Except maybe this bit should be like that. That seems pretty good to me. So you see again, you know, I'm trying things out, stepping back, looking at it, and then trying something else, stepping back, looking at it. So get used to doing this if you wanna be designing stuff. And that's really how you make something good. Like, you don't, you know, a good designer isn't someone who has brilliant ideas and then just makes what they think and then everything works out fine. No, everything about design is about experimenting, trying things out until something works. Like, it's not about the amazing idea, right, being the thing that design is. Design is about, you know, continuously improving what you're making so that eventually you turn not a bad idea, but turn an idea that may or may not work into something that works, right? And there you go, elephant. It's a bit of a shame it's so grey though, because everything is grey. Like the plinth is grey, and then the elephant is grey, and then the sky is grey. So then you don't really see. We also don't see the eyes very clearly. Maybe I should put the eyes somewhere else. It's a shame that this thing's in the way, like this. You don't see the eyes when you kind of look at it straight on, do you? I don't think there's much we can do about that, though. Alright, so let's put in some lighting before we finish here. So again, like if you're not sure about your first attempt at doing, oh, that's not the right place. If you're not sure about how it turns out the first time you try, don't worry so much about it. It's just you know, just build it and then leave it. And then maybe come back later on and think about it. Look at that, it's glowing eyes, scary. So you always come back later on and think about it. So don't try to change everything all the time. Sometimes you need to give yourself a little bit of time to think about things. So, you know, step back, look at it, and then maybe like in a day or two, or maybe a week or two, come back, and then reconsider what you've made. Sometimes you really need time to figure out what it is exactly you need to do to make something better. Alright, we'll put a few glowstone bits into it, so not that noticeable, but it gives it a bit of light so that you can see the shape of it better. That's better, actually. So now that we have a bit of glowstone in it, you can kind of see the shape of it better. The fact that it's raining doesn't really help. Let me just go set time day and turn the rain off again. Alright, so I think I'll end it there unless... Do we want tusks? Elephant tusks. No, the curves of the tusk are too difficult to make in Minecraft. They just not have tusks. So, alright, exercise 1. Build a statue of an animal of your choice on the plinth provided, and that's my version of it. As I said earlier, if I had to do this again, I would make the elephant 1 block taller. I would extend the legs by 1 block. And to be honest, if I was going to hand this in to a teacher, I would fix that. I mean, it would take a bit of time, but I would actually go back and just kind of move everything up by 1 block. I don't know if I should do it in my own time. I'm not going to do it on the video because it's going to take a long time just to make a very slight change. But as we step back and look at it, as you always should, just kind of step back and look at it, we can see that the elephant is a little bit too short. You know, it's kind of, it's the right length, like it's kind of bulky enough, that's pretty good. I like the curves of it. But it's just a little bit short. Oh, wait a minute. The butt here probably could use a bit of shaping. Let me do that, just to curve that out a little bit. Maybe I want to do that instead. Alright, that's good, that's good. Now, yeah, so the question is, do I want to make the elephant a bit taller? What I would do, I guess, is I would make, like, start from the top and then raise everything up by one block from the top. And then raise everything up by one block and then just kind of extend the legs by one block down here. And maybe that's also something you want to keep in mind too, if you want to be an architect, is that if you get something wrong in the design and then you build it, once you've built it, it's very difficult to change. So the thing about what we're doing now is we're in a video game, so it takes a bit of time to rebuild the statue, but it's not that much time. If you build a real building and you realize you want to make the ground floor like a meter taller, you can't do it. It's too expensive. So that's why you draw and you make models when you're designing before you build the real thing, so that you can sort the stuff out. So if I made a drawing of this before I started, then maybe I would have noticed that the legs are a little bit too short, and I would have kind of made the thing a bit taller from the start, and that would have saved me time later on. But it's okay because we're in Minecraft. What else do I have to say? I guess the three-dimensionality of this is quite important. I mean, if you like to indulge me for a little bit, the reason I chose the elephant is because of the parable of the blind man and the elephant. I don't know if you've heard of this story before, but the story goes that there's a bunch of blind men. They're kind of old blind men, and they can't see because they're blind, but they want to know what an elephant is. So somebody brings them an elephant, and these men they touch the elephant to try to figure out what an elephant is. But because the elephant's so big, when they touch it, each person only touches one part of it, right? So one person like he's kind of standing here and he touches the leg of the elephant, and he feels this kind of rough cylinder, and he thinks, or he says, well, an elephant is like a tree trunk, because he's got the leg, right? He doesn't have the whole elephant, so he's touching the leg of the elephant, and he's thinking, well, it's kind of cylindrical and rough. It's kind of like a tree trunk, right? So, but then the next blind guy is standing here and he touches the ear of the elephant, and he thinks to himself, or he says to the others, no, it's not a tree trunk. I'm touching this part of the elephant, and he's saying, well, it's like a large flat piece of paper. Like the elephant is like because the ear is large and flat, right? So he's kind of touching the ear of the elephant. It's like an elephant is large and flat and flexible, like cloth or paper, right? And then the third blind guy, he's kind of over here and he's touching the trunk of the elephant. He's kind of holding the trunk and feeling it. It's like, no. The trunk, or he doesn't know it's a trunk, so he's kind of saying, no, the elephant is long and flexible like a hose, because he's got the trunk and he can't see the rest of it, so he's just kind of touching what's in front of him. So no, the elephant is like a hose, right? And then I don't have the tusks here, but another person kind of touches the ivory tusk of the elephant, and he's like, well, no, the elephant is kind of long and hard and sharp, kind of like a spear, but curved, right? And so these blind guys, like, they're kind of standing around touching different parts of the elephant, but none of them actually knows what the elephant is, or they think they know what the elephant is, but they're only touching a part of it. And so everybody has a different idea of what the elephant is, and in fact, what the elephant is, it's all of the above. It's all of the above, and it's all of them combined. And so these blind guys are touching the elephant, and they don't understand what's going on. And what the story is about really is that, if you want to know something, you need to really understand. Not only do you need to understand every part of it, but you also need to understand how the parts go together. Because if we are looking at an elephant and we are not blind, we can see, well, yeah, these blind guys, they've got they got parts of it, but when you put it together in a particular way, then you have the elephant. And when you think about buildings and architecture, it's also like that, because when you design something, like, what is a house? You can't just say, well, the door is like this, or the window is like this, or the furniture is like this, or a room is like this. A house is the whole thing. And I chose the elephant to build here because that story is quite important to a designer, especially designing in 3 dimensions. This is why we build something and then step back to look at it, because you always have to step back to see the whole elephant. Otherwise, you're like the blind guy, so you're kind of working on the leg and you don't know if the leg is good or not, because you're not stepping back to see the rest of the elephant. Whereas, if you step back, then you realize actually the elephant's legs need to be 1 block longer, because now we can see it like that. Alright, so that's enough storytelling for today. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good elephant, and I will, in my own time, make it 1 block taller, and I think I'll end it here. In the next video of the series, it'll be a lecture about... Where's exercise 2? Oh, there. It'll be a lecture about shelter, about interiors and exteriors, and the concept of shelter, and how architecture gives shelter. So that'll be the next video. I hope I'll see you there.